Let's Talk. I'm your host, Jason, and this is my co-host,
Cheryl.
and here at Let's Talk, we like to discuss topics that matter to you and try to come up with workable solutions with more actions and less talk. So today we're talking about gender roles, traditional gender roles in the home and relationships, just basically man and woman. Cheryl, you got anything to add, or should I just jump right in?
You can just jump right in. I know you said traditional, but we're going to be talking about gender roles in its entirety.
Yeah.
Because tradition doesn't work for everyone.
That's right, but then that's the thing. It works when they want it to work. And I say they. I didn't say any gender. It works when they want it to work. We can leave that up to your interpretation when I say they. Now, in the home and relationships, people expect certain things. And we expect those based on tradition. Because that's where it comes from, tradition, what the men and women did in the past for each other. And today, some people want traditional things, but they don't want to be traditional. I keep saying some people. I want specific.
I'm hearing that. You keep saying some people, you say they, but I want us to have an honest conversation. You're a male, I'm a female. We're talking about gender roles and we only know two genders, males and females. Now, I can't speak for males, but I know I can speak for females. But let me ask you this first though. Who determines the roles of the gender roles in relationships, in the homes? Who determines that? What determines that, or who determines that?
Well, see now, that's a good question. It all depends on who you ask, who determines it. But for me, and probably you too, we got our guidance from the Bible. God himself said who's supposed to do what, which gender is responsible for which. And that's where most society gets their gender roles from. We just take it and tweak it to our own benefit. Now, a man should be responsible for some things, and a woman should be responsible for some things, husband and wives. But we tend, like I said, we tend to turn around and just pick out the parts that benefit us and shun the pieces that seem too hard for us to follow.
I agree. I agree with you. My expectation or my original belief about gender roles came from the Bible, based on how God ordained male and females to respond to each other in a relationship. The man is supposed to take care of the house, the woman is supposed to take care of the home. All right, so the man brings home the bread, the woman makes the meal. Nowadays, I think the gender roles should be determined by the people in the relationship. So what may work for your relationship may not work for my relationship. So what if I determine that in my relationship, I'm going to go out and do the work, and the male is going to stay home because that's how we want it? Is there something wrong with that if we're both satisfied and happy in the relationship?
That's a good question. If you're both satisfied and happy. Now, you can speak honestly here now. Which woman would be happy to go out and work and leave their man home to take care of the house? Huh?
I figured that would spark something. I use that as an example. However, there's sometimes when life dictates your reality. So while it may not be an ongoing thing, there have been moments in relationships when the tables are turned.
Right.
The man may have lost his job,
right,
and now the woman goes out to work and he stays home. It might have been a temporary situation, but that works. And I've seen it work in relationships. And of course, during times like that, because the traditional roles have been more or less reorganized, there is some ego issues. And I think sometimes it's not even because of how the man feels. It's because of how the people around him will make him feel. And so now the woman's put in a position where she has to make sure that his ego remains intact while she's out working and doing all of that. But we'll come back to that.
Women tend to have bigger egos than men.
Oh dear.
But I can come back to that. Now, I agree that there's sometimes situations dictate on how things work, or the dynamics, right?
Right.
And like you said, the example you used where a man lost his job, and the woman has to now step up. That's not by choice. I asked you which woman can choose to do that. That's not by choice. Her situation dictated that, and she had to step up because she has to fill the void now. But again, that's only a temporary situation, and I guarantee you, Let that man get relaxed in that role of sitting home and preparing. I guarantee you, some friction will come. And it ain't gonna come from outside. And it ain't gonna have nothing to do with the man ego. That coming from the woman. Hey, look here. My man, you gotta get up and go get this bread. Because I'm tired of taking care of you. I'm tired of stressing and going out on this job. I'm tired and I can't deal with that. And then come home with all this stuff. Mind you, the fella might have the house in place, you know. It's just that she gotta go there and work and he home.
I believe that can work for some people.
Yeah.
I really believe that that can work for some people. But let me just ask you then, what do you think the role or all the roles of a male in a relationship is? Apparently you don't think one of them is to be home, cooking, taking care of the home. So what do you think are the roles of a male? Maybe you can tell me what you think the roles of a female is in the home too, because I think a lot of times that may be an issue. Males have expectations, women have expectations, and a lot of times this is not a part of the conversation even before marriage. We don't sit down and discuss this. What do you expect of me? What do you want me to do? And sometimes this conversation happens after marriage.
Which is then too late.
And exactly, it's too late.
So
I heard something even once that says, sometimes this comes up in marriage counseling. And even then it's too late.
Yeah.
Because marriage counseling happens when you've already set
you
dates.
then make your mind up.
You
You
chose
only
the
going
mate.
you only going through the steps right now
Exactly.
to see
And that's
the
when
formalities.
serious conversations happen because people are too busy in love. And the whole point of living together
Now, see,
is not discussed.
this conversation about roles and expectations should happen the minute you make up in your mind that this is the one. That's before you propose.
I agree.
So that's the way it should be done. But we don't live in that type of world. You know, we live in a world where we're guided by feelings, and feelings dictate on how we move.
Well, that's how people
Yeah.
younger than us get it.
Yeah. So, and you asked what was my view. I'm a traditional guy. I'm an old-fashioned traditional guy. I believe the man should work. I believe the man should be the head of the home. He should go out and work. Bring home the food. The lady should be home, ready to accept
Not
it.
work.
Prepare. She don't have to. I don't think she don't. A man should be in a position. This isn't a perfect utopian, right? He should be in a
Bring it
position.
in the Bahamian reality. I
Okay,
really
I'm
in the
gonna
Bahamian
speak-
reality.
I'm gonna
That's where I
speak-
live. I
I'm
live in
gonna
the Bahamian
speak what it
reality.
should be, and then I'm going to speak as what it is. I feel a man should go out and work. Don't take on a wife until he's in a position to take care of that wife if she doesn't have to work.
Absolutely, I would hope no comparison, man.
I believe that she shouldn't come into the relationship without any debt. She should come free, without any encumbrance, anything would bring stress to that marriage. So she shouldn't come bringing any debt. So if she has debt, she should clear that up before they get into that marriage.
If she's working?
He should not inherit her debt, because
Okay.
now he has to take care of her and her debt. But then women be, oh, but if
That
you
is
want me,
if
that's fine with
she's
me.
not working.
Hey, please, listen, if you're looking to get married, keep your debt separated until you're ready to get on them. Just how I say, a man shouldn't take on a wife until he's ready to take care of her. A woman shouldn't get married until she's ready to be a wife, which is debt free. That's my philosophy, right? And he should be willing to take on the brunt of the responsibility, which is all finances. And if he doesn't want his woman to work, then that means he should be able to foot whatever hair salons and nails, whatever she do to upkeep, he should be able to take on that as well, because he don't want her to work. Now, if she's going to work, I still believe that she should have her money to take care of herself while he takes care of the home, right? Now, they could join their finances for savings to build a home, because the home still have they have vacations and all that other stuff. But for the financial part of it, I really believe the man should take that on 100%.
Okay, let me ask you this. Out of 10, how many Bahamian men do you think feel like that? On an average.
Oh, jeez. Not much. Because today, now you say, that's how I feel. Now we can get down to reality of it.
Oh, we
The
were not
reality-
there.
No, that was how I feel. The
Okay.
reality of it is now that this in society, everybody got to carry their own weight. You take care of me, I take care of you. And this is finances now. I believe, like I say, I believe the man should take care of the finances. The woman should take care of him. Like you said, the home. The man brings the house, the woman takes care of the home.
And the children?
And the children.
The woman takes The woman takes care of the children as well.
Yes.
Explain that.
Because if he's working, you make sure that everything's in the house that they need to supply all their needs. So now she's not working, so the housewife, that's her job, to raise the kids.
Well, that is a very, very traditional, very, very traditional,
Yes.
very, very traditional.
And it
I've said
worked.
3 times.
It worked.
Right?
We
Did it
changed
really?
Yeah.
Did it really work?
Why didn't it work? Why
I
do you
think
feel it didn't
now-
work?
Well, you have to explain to me how you think it worked as it relates to anything. How people are socially, has that affected statistics as it relates to how children have been grown up, teenage pregnancy, crime rate, has it affected how people have been socialized, children have been socialized and how they affect the world around them? Has that worked? We can compare the past to now. Anyway, like I said before, that is not our traditional Bahamian home. Our traditional home now requires both persons to work for not just for financial reasons basically, but it also requires a partnership as it relates to child rearing. When we were growing up, we had a lot of single parent homes. And if now you're saying that the man is responsible for all of that, men never existed in a lot of these homes. They were out doing their own thing. Things were happening. The woman had to play both roles. And I think now that's part of the reasons as to why you have a lot of females who were unsure as to what our roles are because we were not trained properly. Right?
I disagree.
So,
I
I'm
disagree.
sorry.
I totally disagree. You say men weren't there. The women, I'm not talking about my mommy now. I'm talking about the generation before her.
Mhm.
The men were this type of men that I'm talking about.
Right.
They were out on contracts working, bringing home the money for the moms. So the mothers then, they weren't working mothers. They took care of those, they raised the children, and the fathers came and brought home the bread, and he administered discipline in the home.
What generation are we?
After that, I don't know which generation. Z?
No, you're talking about your parents. I'm talking about us.
Now, you're talking about now.
I'm not talking about as I rear my children. I'm talking about as I was being reared.
Mm.
So, were the males in the house?
No,
Okay, where were they? They were
They
out
started
working.
the males were working.
They never took part in the child rearing.
Yes, yes.
How? Please
As
explain.
absent as my father is, for a few years he was there. That fella was the disciplinarian. He come and put the smile down. So when mommy say, "Daddy coming," we line up. We line up.
Are we talking about your home, Jason, or we're talking
But you said it wasn't
generally
there.
homes? I'm saying generally. If we're looking at the single parent homes, and we're looking at how many of those homes that existed, many fathers were not there. And even if they were there financially, they were not a part of the child rearing aspect. And that is what determines what a child becomes, how a child is, how a child reacts to the world around him, not money. And even if we stick with that tradition that Jason is talking about now, where the father takes care of the home and the mother rears the children, we're going to end up with the same kind of society where the father is only there in body and to
So that
provide.
means now you disagree with biblical truths then, because that's how God designed it. So you trying to tell me it ain't gonna work? That's what you saying? That's what you saying? That's not.
No.
You say it's not gonna work. We're gonna still end up with all these same problems because
God designed it
Mhm.
for the man to take care of the home, yes, but he also has, see, God provides for us, but he's ever present in our lives still. But how you made it sound as if you're going to provide, but the woman has to do all of that because she's a stay-at-home person.
No. Okay, let me clarify.
Please.
Because I'm an involved father. So therefore, I could not endorse or promote fathers being absent. Just bring the money in. Let me clarify. The father has to play a part in the role of raising your children. We were talking about just general rules on the whole. I didn't say the woman has to 100% take care of the children. I said
I'm
that's
sure
her
I'm not the
job.
only one.
But I did say I said the mom was 100% responsible financially. But I didn't say the woman is 100% responsible for raising the children. Because the father has to be present in the child's home. But he has to be present at home in the child's life. He offers the male's perspective to the female perspective. See, we were talking about gender roles. We weren't talking about parenting. Now, you brought it on into parenting. We were just talking
Parenting is a
about roles
big
on the
part
home.
of
A gender role.
gender roles.
Yes.
Of course, because
Gender role is broad, right?
Very.
Parenting is specific. So I was talking broad.
okay.
So now, if you want to get specific,
I'm
then
glad you
I could
corrected
go
yourself.
into saying, okay, now the man cannot leave everything up to the woman, because that's why we end the problems we end today, because only women raising children. I said it. Because the fathers are absent, because the men aren't there to put their spin on things. The women nurturing over providing the other aspect of raising a child.
Mhm.
So women generally move on emotions. Men move on logic. The child needs
Generally,
both. The child needs both.
absolutely.
So therefore the man has to be there. So when the mother's moving all up in her feelings and wants to cuddle the child when they fall or make a mistake, the daddy step up and say, hey. No, let him fix that himself. He has to become independent. The mommy wants the child to be dependent, the father wants the child to be independent, and that's how they raise up well around their child. But if you only have mothers, tradition, that's why I'm speaking
Right.
tradition. Mothers cuddle, protect, keep their children close, and that's why we have the problems we have today. These men, males, adult males, being raised by their mothers, and they go into society feeling that the world should treat them like how their mothers treated them, providing for them, protect them, keep covering for them. If the daddy was there, the daddy would have slapped some sticks in there. No, boy, you's man. Stand up on your own. But you don't want to depend on a woman for, boy, man up. What you crying for? Man up.
I agree
Mothers
with
ain't gonna
you.
do
I
that.
agree with you, and that's a big problem because only a man can train
And
a
raise a
boy
man.
how to be a man.
That's
exactly.
right.
And females are the same way. And even if, and I believe strongly that that's why the gender roles are crossed, because we're not trained. We're not trained how to do anything as it relates to who we are supposed to be. If you have a female who didn't grow up with her father, who teaches her how to be treated by a man, then she will have her own expectations, and we don't know what that is. I know my expectation from what a man's supposed to be like came from Mills and Boone and Harley Quinn romance novels when I was growing up. And God forbid, I had to unlearn everything because I'm still waiting on
Yeah.
Prince Charming come riding on a white horse.
Yeah. And did those books tell you what you were supposed to do when looking for this man?
Just be cute, and I'm still working on that. But seriously, and you wouldn't believe how many females, our minds are so warped as it relates to what to expect.
Yes.
And if we're wise, we will try to learn. We'll do our own research, and we'll figure it out, pray about it, and speak to people who are older and wiser than we are.
That's the thing.
But sadly, we have people who we don't know our roles in relationships. We don't know our roles in society, because parenting, and we're going back to parenting often because
Definitely.
parenting determines so much of this.
Foundation.
It's the foundation for everything.
That's right.
It's the foundation, and believe it or not, I have friends, female friends, and those of us, you can tell we respond differently. Those of us who came from a single home, those of us who came from a home with two parents, it's a total different outlook on life. Of course, you learn from your experiences, and after a while you're able to do better and be a little better at life and your experiences. But your home is responsible for pretty much the kind of life you live.
It starts, that's where it all begins. If you don't have a solid foundation, nothing can stand on it. Nothing is, look, a shaky foundation, whatever goes on top of it will fall.
Yes.
And that brings me now to asking, or just maybe pointing out, people expect traditional roles from their partner, but they don't want to be traditional. You have guys, and I can relate this from
Yes.
both sides. I mean,
Yes.
but you ain't gonna agree with me too much in a minute. You just won't disagree with me. But
Been disagreeing
you have the
with
guys who say, he wants his woman to submit, and she come home and cook and all that stuff, and he come home, have all that's done, right? But then he's not being the traditional man, which is bringing the stuff out of God,
Exactly.
or respecting her to that level,
Exactly.
right? And then you have these ladies, females, ladies, what I use that term loosely, ladies, because you know what them as ladies, right? But just for the sake of this conversation, I can say these ladies, you have these ladies who expect these guys to pamper and fall over them and just spoil them and they
Yes.
just
Of
just
course.
get them, put them on a pedestal and queen.
Yes.
And then when they the men ask them to cook for them, and who, I'm your slave, I look like your mommy? Huh? Who, I ain't washing your clothes, I look like your mommy. You better go get one maid or something. So she want a traditional man,
Yes.
but she don't want to be the traditional woman.
I agree.
And
I agree.
and a lot of that is going on inside these homes as well. And TV, society is telling these ladies they're encouraging women to not play that role. They're encouraging them not to play that role. That's back in daddy days and your grandpa days, where the women were subjected and they were being oppressed. And so don't fall back into that kitchen stuff. Who, you're not a slave. Let him go cook his own meal. Let him bring it to you and all that. Yeah, really? But then they still want the man to be like how Papa them was.
But you know, education has caused us to be a lot more forward thinking, and of course we are a lot more exposed. And exposure will bring change. And this brings change. Change could be positive as well. It's going to bring change, of course, to our relationships because our lifestyles have changed. Back in the day that you speak of, you need to come forward because you like to talk about back in the day a lot.
The good old days.
The good old days that you speak of, women were never as educated as we are now. So you have a lot more women in the workplace and doing great things. A lot more women in the workplace. And of course, when you have our roles changing in that way, our roles will change in the homes as well. So if you have a female who is out working, sometimes working harder than a guy, you must understand, and that's why I said from the beginning, the two people in the relationship determine roles in that relationship. But you have a lot of guys who, like you said, they're not in the position to, I'm trying to find the best words. They're not in a position to take care of someone. You meet a woman who can take care of herself, and you expect her to subject herself to you. When you are not taking care of her, you're not in a position to take care of her. And of course, women who want to be in relationship find that they have to compromise in many ways just to be with someone, when that person does not even measure up to the expectations of what a man ought to be.
Now listen, let me start with this. I said it before, a man shouldn't take on a woman until he's become a man, until he's in the position to take care of her. A man is not a man until he can take care of somebody other than himself.
Right.
So if you ain't taking care of yourself, you ain't no man. If you're not in a position to take care of somebody else, I still don't believe you have arrived. And you don't have to be taking care of a woman, you can be taking care of your mommy, your little sister, your little younger siblings. If you're not in a position to help somebody else, you still haven't arrived where you need to be. So stay out of relationships until you reach there. Preface it with that. Now, you said the women looking for this man. She's already been exposed to the workforce. She didn't get all of this baggage on her. She didn't toxic, she didn't got all kind of baggage on her because she didn't made wrong decisions. She chose the wrong guys. She chose those little jokey fellas out there. Now here comes a guy who can fulfill it, but she has baggage. She can't see it because she's only seeing through the jaded glass of what she really wants.
The average woman
Has walked that.
Well, maybe, but that's not what I was going to say. The average woman wants to love and support a man. The average woman
way
goes
she wants to
into
do it.
no,
The way it's supposed to be done.
the way it's supposed to be done. I don't know any woman who turns away from being properly loved.
See, that's the word.
It is in our DNA. Just like you say, to be emotional is in our DNA. To be supportive is in our DNA.
But not to
It
be
is
submissive.
embedded. It's the same thing.
Not to be submissive.
It's the same thing. And that's just because of the curse. We'll talk about that another time.
Ah.
But to be supportive is in our DNA. It's in the DNA of every woman. Every
I can agree
single
with
one. And any woman, it all takes, and the great John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership.
Yes.
If a man leads in the home, everything falls in place.
Yes.
And anytime there's a problem, it's a leadership problem.
Yes.
Even in the relationship. So if the man leads the woman will automatically follow.
Let me
I
stick
truly
it
believe
right there.
that.
Let me stick it right there. Because a woman chooses any man she wants to be with. A woman
True.
chooses that. A woman dictates, a woman can pick and choose, refuse.
Don't you
respond
choose?
to
Don't
it.
men choose
Men don't
the
have that
female?
option. Men usually
I would hope
take.
they do.
Men usually take what they can get.
Did
Men usually take what they can get. Women
What?
has the option of choosing which man they want. Now men dictate who they marry.
Exactly.
Men dictate who they marry.
Exactly.
But women choose who they be in a relationship with.
Well, the ultimate prize is to be married.
Says who?
For a female.
Okay,
That
so-
is the prize. The
so-
ultimate prize for a female is to be married.
So-
the man is the king.
No.
He gets to choose
Okay.
who he marries. So
Okay.
I don't understand what it is you're
Okay,
saying.
no, I was going to say
You
this.
s- we
You
choose
used
who
to
we
say-
sleep with.
You said that it rises and falls with leadership. Who you choose to lead you? If you choose that man,
Right?
then you choose him to lead you.
So now it's
So
my
who-
fault.
That's what I'm getting at. He
Oh,
did not pull a gun on you.
Oh, so
and
it's
say,
not the
hey,
lead- it's not the
follow
leader's
me.
fault.
He didn't
It's
say,
my
follow
fault.
me. He said, hey, he didn't pull a gun on you, maybe follow you. He said, you want to do this? She said yes. So you chose, you suppose a vet.
Wow.
I choose this man. I go before God and I choose this man to love, honor, cherish, respect, on have the whole, submitting all of that good stuff to. She chose that. She chose that.
So
So
because-
therefore, if you choose that, don't say it's the leadership fault. You choose the leader. So if you choose the wrong leader, that's on you too. That's like the government. We got this government. We choose that. Ain't nobody put no gun on us. We choose
But
that.
isn't that taking responsibility of people who are in the position to do better?
Hold on.
No, that is not a fair assessment at all.
No, that is fair because you can't just place it. I agree with you, this leadership fault, but it isn't solely rest upon the leader because you choose that. You chose that. And this submission thing, the Bible doesn't say you submit if he's leading right. The Bible says you submit. Point blank, submit. Now,
Oh,
but
but
the
the Bible
also said the man is
Okay,
supposed
okay.
to love his woman above himself. He's supposed to treat her better than he treats his own body. He does say that. So let me don't sound one sided here. But don't try to just place that over on the man. We got enough blame and I can accept that. But y'all share equally with that blame. Equally.
Okay, first of all, the man chooses a wife. Since you want to quote the Bible says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
The
So
Proverbs
man-
31 woman is what
the
he's referring to.
man-
Not any woman. The wife that the Bible speaking about is a Proverbs
Let's
31
assume we
woman.
all are. Let's assume we all are. So the man finds that good thing. And now you are going to blame that good thing if the man doesn't lead right. Because in essence, that's what you're saying. If the woman is responsible
For
for
choosing her
who
leader.
she follows,
For choosing who she
that
yes.
doesn't make any sense. You're saying in the workplace, the leader doesn't bear any responsibility because of the people who are there are responsible for the actions of the leader. You're saying the politicians who mismanage our money and do whatever, we're responsible because we chose them?
I said
No, sir.
equally. I said you didn't. I said
No.
equally. Don't
We're
just
not,
place it on
equally,
leader.
we're not equally responsible.
Why not?
We're not equally
If
responsible.
I'm coming to
The
you
person
to
in
sell
the
you a
position-
car,
Mhm.
whose job is that to check that car out before they buy it?
I can check the car out before I
And do your
I can
due
do the
diligence
Carfax.
before you
I-
commit yourself to
I
that.
can do all of that and still end up because you have people who are deceptive will find ways to deceive.
Yes.
So you can do everything that
And
you're
still get
supposed to
swayed.
do and still get swayed.
Yes.
It's my point.
And that's why we go back to what you said, the counseling, the listening to leaders, to asking questions. This is a little smaller country we live in. Everybody know everybody. Ain't nobody that good at lying that somebody down the road ain't know that one is lying.
I think the thing is we just need to go back to being humans. Because nowadays
Back in
we
the
are
day.
selfish, we are self-involved, and we're all about getting ours. And I think when there is a basic respect for people, you go into a relationship, you know there's going to be another person there. You go in a relationship respecting, loving, and going there to make sure the other person's a little better off than how you met them. If we all have that in mind, that means you'll be looking out for me, I will be looking out for you.
But
And
society
I'm
doesn't
sure
push that.
that's an ideal situation, but
And that's why
Too often
you
than
back,
not.
we go right back to where I was saying back in the day, I'm a traditional guy. That's why I keep going back to you. Come right with me and say, let's go back.
No, because I know that we cannot live there. We have to live in the reality
But you
where
want to
we
bring
are
it
now.
forward. And that's why I'm saying I'm the traditional guy, and that's the values I hold, and that's what I aspire to, that's what I want. That's what I would like it to be. But like you said, that's not where we are. But you come right here, and you're going to be side
Not really.
agreeing.
But
You won't bring them back.
Men,
Yes,
no, men need to assert themselves. Men need to know their role and play their role.
Yes.
I think once that happens, then everything falls in line. Children fall in line. When the father gets back in the home, the children fall back in line.
Listen, the women have responsibility for that because the women from back, the women today,
We're going back.
their mouth, their actions, and everything else saying they don't want to be led by no man. Tell me I lie. Okay, so
lie.
now she had a pause, she didn't
You
answer
lie.
me.
No, I paused. I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be honest.
Okay.
Women are not saying they don't want to be led by any man. They just we want to be led by a real man.
Do they know
Right?
what a real man
And
is?
guess what? Doesn't even have to be 100% real, you know. We'll settle for 70.
They send
It's
me all
just
kind of
that-
garbage. What I see, they send
Sadly, because a real man or a good man is so limited, people have settled. People have
And they
settled for
shouldn't have
far
settled.
less.
They
People have
shouldn't
settled for
settle.
far less. And because of that, it's just like this. The food store could sell damaged goods, you know,
Mhm.
because they know someone will buy it.
Mhm.
And that's the sad thing. And so men could be less than. They could come not having a job. They could be trifling. They could have three people, and they know that some woman will be with them.
Exactly.
And that's the
Somebody,
problem.
and see, that's right there what I'm saying. You can't put the blame on that old garbage man if he's still selling his stuff, if somebody buying it. You can't blame him. He wrong, but you can't blame him. He only can sell it for somebody if they buying it. So if the women, because men need to know their place, but women definitely need to know their place. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to just put it on the man. The woman got equal amount because there's some woman out there laying up with these jokers, reproducing. That a man can't reproduce by himself. So these same women are there bashing men. Right now they're having babies with those same men they bashing. Why? Because they settling. Ain't nobody tell them to settle. They want to settle.
And back to if we're being
So why they
honest,
settling?
let's go back to gender roles then. Because her daddy didn't play the right role.
Right. Right. That's
So it all goes back to the man. It comes full circle.
Full circle.
It comes full circle. It
Because
all goes back to
listen.
some father who didn't play a role. in that
I'm
female's
not
life.
absolving no man because I can't stand a lousy fella. I want to use some words here. I can't stand a lousy man. Right? These fellas who walk around thinking all that and the children know their son. I will get the courts after them, yeah? I will get them locked up because my old man was, hey, we need to keep it off for me. We go back to this gender role. Let's get it. Bring it back in. But those lousy men out there, there's no shortage of them. But these women choosing them and they're raising them. Because these lousy men came from a home from a single mommy. Now the daddy should have been there. The daddy should have been there, but he wasn't there. So guess what? The mommy now is supposed to step. Knowing she had baby for a lousy man. Know what she's supposed to do now? Let me make sure my son don't turn into a lousy man. Know what she do? Know what she do?
What?
No, she don't do. She blame the daddy and keep blaming the daddy, and either she cuddles the little boy and keep him close, pamper him, make him a mama's boy, or she speak down to him. None of that helping the man. What she should have done is try to find a healthy, wholesome manner and environment around good men to give these boys something to model after. And that's the woman's job because the man ain't there. Don't let your child fall weak because you had a baby before a garbage nigga.
Oh, so it's her job to go out.
Yes, it's her job to do that
It's
because
her
the man
job
ain't there.
to work.
That's her child.
It's her job to
Yes.
work, right?
Yes.
Make
Feed the
sure
children.
the child is taken care of.
Make sure
Physically.
education is done.
Education is
Yes.
taken care of. Make sure the
Yes.
child is well emotionally,
Yes.
psychologically, and
Yes.
do all of that.
Yes.
And still turn around and be blamed if something
No.
goes wrong.
Yeah, yes. Because guess why? You are so responsible for that child because he can't do it for himself. So now that the fella in there, you gotta be everything to that child. You have to because you don't want that child.
Women are, and most single parents do the best that they can. Most single women.
Listen,
do
like
the
yes, I agree.
best
My
that they
mother
can.
raised 5 men. Not by herself, you know. She got help. She sought help. We ain't perfect, but we okay. We ain't got no criminal records. All of us holding down our jobs, all of us taking care of our families.
Yes, exactly.
So we got something, you know, and mommy didn't provide all that for us. She made sure that we were in certain environments to get the best type of examples we could, and that's why I could say if my mommy could do it, these girls are here with 1 child, 2 child, they can do it too, because there's more resources today than when my mother had them. So that's no excuse. That's no excuse. And like I said, I don't put the blame 100% on these women. These fellas, these same garbage fellas, these girls keep getting pregnant for. I will slap the head off these girls. Because why you see him?
Oh, you're gonna catch a case.
You see her baby over here. He take care of it. You can help baby for him, and then you can go, yeah, struggling with 1 child, then you can go do it for 2, 3, 4. I know you must have plenty of comfort sober. You gotta stop and break the cycle.
Things happen.
Break the cycle.
And
Things only need to happen once.
I'm not making any excuses, but things happen, and a lot of these things people don't plan for.
I understand. Mistakes happen.
But
how much time should one mistake happen twice? Once mistake, twice, yeah, 3, 4, 5. How hard you have to struggle with singles? How hard? When it can kick into you? Hold on, something I doing here right.
Okay, while you're here though, bashing the people who are at least still there trying to do something. What are guys doing?
I want those fellas, but I'm seeing fathers those children who the girls struggling, I want them to get locked up. No,
but
that ain't helping.
Do men have this conversation together? Because females get together, we talk about these things.
Yeah.
Do men talk about these things when they get together?
I don't roll with garbage because I don't know those type of fellas.
So how are they going to get any better when they don't have people like you who seem to have it all together to there to help them, to advise them? For them to more, you need to be mentored.
Listen.
Because that's what it's going to take.
That's why I'm not afraid to speak, and I don't take up for fellas them just because they're guys. I don't like how women will just sit on women's side because that's a woman. I don't do that foolishness.
We don't do that either. We challenge each other.
Every Mother's Day every mother is a queen. She's done no wrong. You just heard what she said?
Listen.
A wife, let's assume every wife is the power of 31 woman. You said that. You said that.
Yes, I
so
did.
Guess what? So
and I'll say it again.
But
I'll say it again.
Listen,
no.
men, I am sick and tired of these men getting off easy. I'm sick and tired of these ladies who are having babies with these guys and not putting them before the course and making these fellas them pay their child support. I'm sick and tired of these ladies who just giving these fellas a pass. Good ladies need to get together, and if she dating a guy and she doesn't, and he has a baby or that he isn't taking care of, that new girlfriend is supposed to make him take care of that child, and if he doesn't do it, leave him. Stop taking up. And guess what? That's when some of these guys can start to do better. If women leave them alone, they say, oh, I can't get a girl.
Yes.
These girls talking, they bashing me. I can't get a girl. Let me do better. But see, if women ain't sticking together on that front, why you have to do better? If
you
you still can get it,
who do that. I must say, you do have some women who do that. But I can't swear for everyone. There are many reasons as to why people do what they do. And I don't know their circumstances and I don't want to judge. But that's an ideal world, and I agree with you. Of course, there are many of us who are part of the problem. If there were no available persons, then of course these men wouldn't have a chance to do what they do. Like I said before, I don't know the backstory, and for every situation there's a backstory. But a woman, just like how a woman cannot train a guy, she can fix a guy. And I think, and we hold each other accountable, believe it or not. You're right here saying that women, we take up for each other and we do whatever. When I have conversations with my girlfriends, it's a challenging, honest conversation. And I think women are more honest with each other than men are.
Never. Go ahead.
I believe women are way more honest. And I will always say, I think women are, because I don't think, the things that we talk about, I don't think men, I think men are too self-conscious to talk to each other about these things. And I don't think you challenge each other enough. You have a woman who challenge another woman faster than a guy will challenge a guy. Easy. And I would leave that, I'll take that to my grave.
You mean challenge on hairstyle and then
not hairstyle, challenge on life choices, challenge on everything.
Never.
Who are these people you're talking to? You think
See,
we only
because-
talk about nails and
because-
hair and
because-
stuff? We talk about real
Listen,
stuff.
because I don't hang with those kind of low flyers that who just all about impregnating girls or just want
But you don't have to
bang
hang
and
with
stuff like
someone
that.
to make a change in their life, Jason.
No,
You-
no, that's why I'm speaking. I am never afraid to speak my mind and to openly say whatever I feel. And if it's about men, women, whoever, I don't pull no punches with nobody. And I'm harder on men because every time I talk about men, I get upset because I
I can
want
see
some of
that.
these fellas them, hey. And it's upset me how girls, these ladies just accept it. Because you said they settle, and they shouldn't settle. The women have so much power. Y'all, if y'all only know how much power y'all
Yes.
have, y'all could make us. Y'all make us and y'all break us.
Yeah.
That's why guys do what they do. We go to get the jobs, we get the money, we get the cars, we get the whatever. You know why? Because we want to get the women. That's how much power. We don't get them for us. We
Really?
get them. We don't get them for us. We get those because we don't get the women. Y'all got so much
There you
power.
have it, ladies.
And see, men and women know that. Some women know that. That's why they wear what they wear. That's why they present themselves the way they present themselves. Because they know they got us. But I digress. Women and men need to accept their roles as adults and play their roles to raise functioning members of the society.
To become
The
a woman.
children are of utmost importance. That's our future. So guys need to step in and forget the girls, the female relationship, but just be there for their child. Give what they can give to properly raise the child. The wisdom they've gained over the years. That whole attitude and whatever the man can bring, his presence, which he brings to the table, that's what he needs to do. Step up and be there for the child. The mother, if the guy ain't there, find somebody who can bring that for your child. Because your son you cannot raise a man. Women, I don't care how much you think you could. And on Father's Day, you'll stop your garbage things. A woman cannot be a father. You only could be the best mother in the world. That's it. A father cannot be a mother. So if a father can't be a mother, a mother can't be a father. So
agree.
and the man, you need to be there, not just for your sons, you need to be there for his daughter so that he can show his daughter what a man looks like, how a man's supposed to treat her, what she's supposed to expect from a man. So the mother will teach her daughter how to be a woman, but the father will teach her what to expect from the man, how she should be treated.
Absolutely.
But again, we fall off from our rules and we move from gender talk to parenting talk. But
Back
so
to
back to
because it's intertwined. It's
It is.
intertwined. There's no way to get away from it because however we parent determines, like we said before, how that child lives. And if the parent is not in place, the mother needs to be there for the girl so that she can know how to take care of herself and what to expect from a man. The father should also be there for the girl so that she can know how to be treated by a man. For the boy, he needs his mother so he can know how to treat a woman.
Yes.
And how a woman should be treated and what to expect.
Yes.
And all of that should be a part of our parenting. He should be around his father. He should watch how his father takes care of his mother. But if we don't have these dynamics in place, we end up with what we have now.
Yes.
With the same females who don't know what to expect, and so we settle for whatever it is that we get. And that same female ends up having a child, and the cycle continues. And it continues and it continues. So while we may be talking about gender roles and Jason is saying we end up talking about parenting. Everything rises and falls on the leadership of parents in home because it determines where the child ends up and how the child ends up.
Yes.
But I think we won't fall too far off the mark if we go back to tradition, what the Bible says. If we go back to those same basic things, women respecting men, and like Jason says, respecting them unconditionally. Respecting them not because he's making you happy every day, because that makes no sense. Nobody's going to be happy every day. We cannot live in the moment and determine what we're going to do because of what is happening right now. Respect is respect. if the man loves unconditionally, like he's challenged to do, based on the word of God, then we'll have an ideal situation. But sadly, we don't live in an ideal world, and we never will. We never will. Now, Hollywood is telling women how to act and how we are supposed to treat others, and RESPCT and all the single ladies and all of that stuff. And so now everybody's confused, and we wake up every day making a determination as to what we're going to do with our life, and of course that ends up with what we have now.
What we have now.
What we have now.
What we have now. She pointed at me and said, "What we have."
No,
The
and
shade is real.
I said what we have now because of what you were so passionate about earlier when you talked about the lousy guys and the women who allow them to be lousy because if they have no reason to change.
And you know, the Bible, it all comes back. God had the perfect blueprint, you know. And if we do it God's way, it'll always work out right. But that's the enemy's plan to get us away from that blueprint. And that's why, and we've moved away from it. That's why we are where we are right now with these bunch of the alphabet agenda, who's trying to tell us that there's no gender roles and there's 100 different agendas, 100 different genders, and all this foolishness because we've moved away, we strayed away. Bible says a man should love his wife unconditionally. Love her whether or not she's playing a role. That's a command we were given because we don't naturally love. We have to be intentional about it. A woman was told to respect her husband. Submitted. I mean, they were both commanded to submit to each other, but the woman was commanded to love, respect, and submit to her husband. And that respect doesn't come natural for them. They challenge you because of the curse. We all are subjected to this curse. Eve was told that she would have a desire for her husband. And you might say, oh, that ain't no curse. A woman should desire her husband. But the word was desire. The same desire that they were talking about is the desire which Satan had when Jesus said, Peter, Satan desires you, which means Satan wanted to rule over Peter. So that's what the woman wants to do. She wants to rule over the man. That's why they challenge you. And that's just in them. They just will challenge you. And we as men, we got to be man enough and strong enough to be secure in our position to realize it for what it is. To be able to stand and carry this load that they put on us.
I feel like he pointed this way when he said load. But I find though that, maybe it's just me, I find that while women have become stronger, I know a lot of women are being accused of wearing the pants. Men have become weaker, they're so emotional. Men are all up in their feelings.
Yes.
And now it's like they want to be loved.
Yes. Nothing wrong with being loved now.
They want to be loved how a woman is supposed to be loved.
Yes.
So as a female, we're accused of wearing the pants, but we have to wear the pants because we still have to go out there and work, and in some situations pay half the bill, and then come home, cook, clean, and then go pamper the guy.
See, we back to this, you know why? Because remember I said she should come without debt? You know why? Because she made some decisions before getting into a relationship. So now she feels she has to get a man to help her get out of that debt. But if she had made sure she didn't get into any debt, then she would have never settled for a man, for any Joe Blow that comes. You know why? Because she say, I got this.
No, Jason,
I can take this.
you have some men who are real, well, I use the word real loosely, but you have some men who are real men who can take care of you, who are working hard, who are doing all of that, but they have this emotional side where they want to be pampered.
Well, hold on now. If he's doing all of that, what's wrong with her pampering him? If he is doing his role as a real man, what's wrong with him being pampered?
She still has to work, and she still has to do all of that, and she still
that's
has
what you're speaking to now. You said he's doing all of this, which means I'm assuming she don't have to work.
She doesn't have to work, but
she wants to work.
The average woman wants to work.
Why?
Because you're passionate about things too.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any world where, well, personally, let me just speak for myself. I would work even if I didn't have to work because I love my job and I feel valuable when I am assisting in other areas, and I want to do something with my time.
Right. So the question: if that is interfering with your marriage, because we still be talking about marriage, which one do you think has to give? Your career or your marriage?
Well, once you're in a marriage, that has to come first. I think your ministry to your husband
Okay,
should be
then.
the first thing.
So
that should be
therefore-
priority. I agree.
Therefore, that which you're talking about, or she has to go and work and then they don't come home and pump, your husband come first. So therefore, that job, if that job's stressing you out, speak, put that job aside, leave it to your husband. Because if you say he's taking care of everything, then what you worrying about? That means whatever you make it be for you, because he's taking care of everything. So you want everything for you and still don't want to do nothing for him. That's what you're saying. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about right here.
That is not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's just an ideal situation,
Fair
Jason.
enough.
You know that in most situations you do have to work. You have what percentage
Yeah,
of Bahamian
that's
women do you
true.
think are in a situation where they don't have to work?
And that's why
A
I
very
said,
small percentage.
That's
Most
why I
women
said-
have to work.
that's why I said the idea
But
would
you-
be for her to not get into debt before she gets into the
That is the
situation.
idea. Can we just talk
Okay,
about what's
but the
real right
reality.
now? The reality
Okay, let's do the
is
reality
most women
now.
have to work,
Yes.
and the average woman who has to work has to go to work 8 hours,
Mhm.
deal with the children, come home and deal with the home, and still has to fulfill traditional expectations from a man, even though you're in a non-traditional situation.
Now, if we're not in a traditional, that means the whole dynamics, you all now got to do what works for everybody.
Agreed.
And it shouldn't just be one-sided, that the man gets or the woman gets. It has to now compromise, and all that should be done before marriage. All that should be done
Agreed.
before marriage.
Yes.
You have to have this conversation. Hey, babes, I expecting this from you. Babes, I expecting this from you. Can you do it? No? Okay, let's go elsewhere. Now, if you'd agreed to do it before you sign the papers, listen, I don't hear no back talk after marriage start. Oh, I didn't realize. Hey, you agreed to it. See there? You agreed to this. This is what we agreed to. Now, if you didn't have that conversation, talk about something else. Which is, this is what we're dealing with right now. Many of us have not had that conversation.
Agreed.
So we have a lot of turmoil in marriages. So what do we do? What do we do from there? Because now here we are in this marriage. We didn't determine what we wanted, what we expected from each other, what each other roles supposed to be before we get married. So now we're married. How are we going to move forward now, where one party doesn't feel that they're taken advantage of?
I agree. That's definitely a conversation to have, and communication is very important. But I think once you get in marriage, well, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite when I'm saying this, so let me choose my words carefully. But a lot of people, when they are getting into marriage, one of the things that they think about is, if it doesn't work, this is what, and if this happens, I'm getting out. I think that's something that your mind should never go there.
Yes.
I think everyone going into marriage should think, I'm in there, this is it. This is it. At least that is my mindset now. Going to marriage, this is it. I'm not leaving for any reason. Of course, you want to say that to someone because they might feel like, okay, that's licensed to do garbage because she ain't never going nowhere. But it's important. It's important to go in there thinking that this is for life. And I think we mentioned this the last time too. We approach a lot of other areas in our lives like this. We approach our jobs like this. You know, we are fully committed to it. A lot of us commit to our children more than we commit to our spouses. We commit to our jobs more than we commit to our spouses. But as a wife, your first priority is your husband. As a husband, your first priority is your wife. And a lot of husbands, their priority is work, and they feel, okay, I got to work to take care of her.
Because she want the money.
But-
I'm coming this house broke. Mama got to get her nails in hair done.
But the understanding has to be there that I'm working for you.
Right.
I'm working for you. So if you're working for me, the job can't be more important than I am. So you have to make sure that those lines are clear.
Balance. Yeah.
Right?
Balance.
But you are in service to each other, and that's the important thing. You have to understand that you are in service to each other, and everybody else is second place.
Everybody else, including the children.
Including the children. The
Now-
children that you make together, and every other child.
That's easy to say when them two make it together, but when it's the
Except-
stepfather, or the stepmother, and she is okay, and this, I can speak from my part. I don't have this issue, but I have family members who walk through this, and their marriages failed because of this. One was on the brink of failing, one failed because of this. because the wife, her husband, she don't mind him providing and protecting her child.
Mhm.
Oh, that's our child. But the minute comes down to the punishment, the disciplining of her child, because that ain't his child. Oh, no. You ain't the daddy. I can discipline. Wait. So this you telling me now, I'm the stepfather, right? Oh, so I can provide for that child whatever he or she wants. I can take them out to reward them and all good times and everything is good. I can provide for them. When they get in trouble or somebody trouble them, I can protect them. I can go and fight. I can be ready to raise hell and raise Cain for them. But now that child do something wrong, and I must tread lightly about disciplining them.
So well, my thing is, everything that goes wrong in a relationship was wrong before the marriage. I believe that. It's just that we're blind to it. We want to be blind to it. We're so in love. He's so sexy or she's so sexy. He has this or she has that. And you tie yourself in your mind to that. And a lot of those other things are screaming at us. But after the love dies down, then our eyes are open. Now we're less dumb than we were before. And so we're seeing these things. But all of those dynamics were present before the marriage, and we should open up our eyes to that. And I think a lot of marriages fail because, see, some of these things, even while they're still fresh, if it's discussed, it can be saved.
Yes.
You know, once the guy puts his foot down to say, okay, I notice this is happening, but I'm not going to a marriage with this. Let's figure it out. What is a good compromise? You know, because it could be a situation where she doesn't like any of the kids' discipline, whether they're her kids or his kids. You know, there are a lot of things that happen, or a lot of decisions, and you might think I'm taking up for females, or this is a cop-out. But a lot of decisions female makes is based on our experiences. Our experience is either something that happened to us, or something that we expected to happen to us that didn't. And
In
so
your mind again.
we make but it's real. We make decisions based on that. My parenting decision is based on a lot of things that are how I wanted to be as a child, how I wanted to be treated like a child.
Right.
I treat my child or my children based on how I wanted to be treated as a child. Something that didn't happen. So a lot of females, we act accordingly. So sometimes guys need to be a little more understanding and tap into that. Is she doing this, and try to understand, and every female is different. When you learn that female, you understand and think, okay, maybe she's doing this because of something else. Have that conversation.
That's it. Having conversations, and I am a sole believer in that now. In my old age, I'm now learning that communication definitely is the key to everything.
Everything. I agree.
And the problem is, like you mentioned, we don't see these things. We don't want to see them. Because why? We're seeing through sex-covered lenses. And once we start having sex, our visions become blurred. We don't see nothing else after that. We only seeing that thing, you know, and we won't get that, and we give people passes.
Yeah.
People we should have let go a long time ago, like we don't, because you know why? We like the way putting it down.
Yeah.
And so and that's where a lot of our problems are. We refuse to acknowledge it because we've given ourselves to this person physically, so we want to make it work. We try to force it to make it work when we know we really shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing we need to do. Stop, learn how to properly vet people, yeah? And coming back again, and putting them where you need to go. Learn how to see and stop making excuses for the person when they sell you something. The man sell you bad fish. Hey, you should inspect that before you bought it. Properly inspect. And if you ain't got the skills to inspect it, then you bring somebody, hey, use a fisherman, come here. Check that out for me. Stop blaming them for swinging you. Women always say they're smarter than man. But then they let the same dumb man swing them.
Anyway,
Gender rules.
since we're talking about gender roles, and I'll end with this, nothing will work unless everybody plays their role.
Yes.
You know, if we're supposed to meet, you know, together and each person's a half of a whole, then I can't be 3/4 and you only a quarter.
Yes.
It will never work like that. So relationships, whether it's parenting or whatever it is, we all just have to play our role for anything to be successful.
Yes, I agree with you. And each should give, I always saying 50-50, no, 100-100.
Exactly.
Everybody comes putting their best foot forward, always looking to serve the other person. I take care of her, and she takes care of me. That's how it's supposed to be. Man's not better than a woman, and he's no greater than a woman. Even though God may have put him as a leader, he's not better than a woman. He shouldn't be trying to overpower or lord that over her. We all have our own roles to play.
Right.
A woman is equally worth the man. A man is equally worth what the woman is worth. So thank you again for joining us in this Let's Talk. I'm Jason.
And I'm Cheryl.
So let's talk, more action, and less talk. Have a good one.